Okay, what's up, everybody? 3D modeling and rendering one. So we're continuing with from where we left off on the Zelda poster project, which is we were blocking out uh, this arrow piece. And today I want to kind of go through adding some more detail to it, maybe finishing it out a little bit, and giving you guys a little advice on where you can find free sculpting tools that you can use to sculpt different things, and you know, just overall advice, and just working through some of this stuff and modeling in general. So, let's continue from where we left off. So, we've made some of these details, and I've put in some geometry here. And when I say geometry, I'm referring to geometry colloquially in the term of, like, these lines and edges that we're adding. This is geo, right? We're gonna call that geo. I know you guys know that, but I always like to reiterate it for people who are just hopping on. If you've never seen this, or you're trying to learn this, that's what it is, geometry. So when I refer to geometry, that's what I'm talking about. So I want to get cleaner geometry here. And what that is you see how these are like quadded out? Cleaner geometry. I've got it in some places, but I don't have it in a lot of places right now. And the beauty of the new 3ds Max is that they allow you to kind of retopologize based on the mesh that you already have. If you don't want to spend the time, right? What you would have to do in general is you would have to start clicking these guys and connecting, right? You would have to. That's how you would go. You'd go by connecting every one of these, but the new 3ds Max is kind of done away with some of that stuff, and we're going to use some of that to our advantage. So I threw that symmetry modifier on here, and now let's isolate our model. Let's just freeze all. Let's isolate our model, right, from the rest of everything else, because we've been filling out these sheets, and it's a pretty cool way to kind of view your stuff, but it can get a little cumbersome to look at. So I'm just gonna hit Alt and Q. So let me turn on no board as well. You guys know what no board is by now. It allows you guys to see my keystrokes and everything I'm doing, how clumsily I move about on the screen, and everything like that. So looking at this guy, all right. So I want to clean up some of this geometry, and the easiest way right now to do that is we're just going to throw a retopology modifier on here, and at 5,000 face count, this is fine. Let's just compute it and see what we get. So, because of how I've already kind of laid out that internal geometry, it's saying, all right, so he kind of wants a circle there. He wants some edges here, so I'll keep those, and then I'll retopologize everything else. Right, and when I say it's retopologized and clean, you can see that now we have quads everywhere. So let me shift drag a copy of this out. I'm gonna make it an instance. So you can see that it does a pretty okay job. Right, let's hit P to get in our perspective, Z, and then it gives us a perspective view, so I'm not jumping around as much. All right, so Alt and middle mouse, I'm rotating around my model just to see what it did. And now if I throw a turbo smooth, I just drop down this list right here, T, find my turbo smooth, boom, I click on turbo smooth, and it does it for me. Well, another thing it's doing is it didn't give me my little edge here, so I want to kind of delete these. So I'm going to throw an edit poly on top of this. And I want to get rid of these because I want it to be it's actually by angle. Select that. And then boom. Oh, whoops. Deselect it, and now I can just deselect the ones that I don't want. Right. deselect those right there. Alright, deselect that guy. So all the stuff that I don't want, I can now delete. I'm going to delete this. Like that. So it kind of makes like a little rail here. So, and that's what I kind of want right there. Maybe what I can do is use this selection and then just clear it out like that. Alright, so that's pretty cool. So in 3ds Max, I can just use that same edge, shift, drag up, and it's going to create that Boolean operation automatically. So I don't have to go through the trouble of doing it for myself. But I'm still going to clean this up geometry-wise anyway, right? Like I'm still going to throw a retopology on it anyway. So, you know, that's just cleaning it up. So I wanted to make sure I had that rail in there. So let us do by 30, and then let's do compute 5,000. So yeah, it's giving us some better geo, right? And now if we throw on a turbo smooth, you can see how clean that geometry really is. All right, so if I hit F4, I can see what my geo's doing. All right, and that's kind of what I wanted. All right, I can even, let's cut this guy out, and I can go in here, select my, you know, and this is where your attention to detail starts to come in, right? If you want better topology to be created for yourself, right, you're gonna have to go in and kind of guide it a little bit better, right? I'm saying I want you to, you know, kind of connect that way, maybe do one this way so that, you know, it makes sure that you know, that goes that way. All right. So, and I can even go here and say, all right, I want this to kind of travel this way. Oops. So now I can throw another symmetry modifier on this guy. Select that, selecting that middle edge, just another simple symmetry. Hit 1 on the keyboard. 1 on the keyboard. Alright. And then I can, just like that. Go into an edit poly. Now I can select this guy, control backspace, and I can remove that edge. 1 to make sure. Alright, go down here, I can clear all and just add a simple auto smooth, right? And now I can retopologize this. And it should, you know, I'm just giving myself better geo to start with. So let's compute that. All right, look at that. It's much cleaner geometry. I didn't have to do a lot of work to get there. All right, so let's do by selected. Right, and I didn't even throw on the turbo smooth or anything yet, right? And it's already kind of a lot cleaner. All right, and just like that, we can get decent, you know, topology from our objects. So I'm gonna, and the cool thing is because I made this an instance, everything I did over here, right here to this guy, already automatically happens over here. And I just brought this guy out just so I could see what was going on in there. All right, and then, you know, so, and I brought this extra one out here so I could see a little bit more of that information. And let's see, if I have another image, I'm gonna make this a copy, hit M on the keyboard. I'm gonna try to see if I can find another reference image that we can use. See if we can have one. Okay, so this guy wouldn't be bad. Just gonna throw it on this guy, and then bitmap fit. That's this guy. All right, and then we can just go back to the plane, just increase the width a little bit. So now we can see, you know, some of that info. All right, so it's this kind of runey, kind of like it got kind of got like a rune feel to it, very ancient, archaic-y, kind of, you know, fantastical feel to it. So that's something we're going to try to emulate. So I'm just going to see if I have another one in here. See if I have another reference image I can use. And this is, you know, I work like this in the beginning, and then what I would do is I'll separate all my assets into, you know, individual pieces, and then I can use that, and then, you know, maybe make the high poly, low poly, and then bring it all back together. So you know, this is a little bit my workflow. I don't know how other artists work. This is just my workflow, and you know, other people have other, you know, different methods, but this has kind of worked for me just to get stuff done and stuff out, and to keep track of what I've got. So and you know, it's kind of a visual thing too, because like as you see what you're making, as you see like, oh man, I made this and I made that, and you know, you see your little assets list start to pile in the same file, it's giving you motivation to do more, right? Because if you make one file, close it, and you're like, you know, I think I made this, or I think I made that, or, you know, this way everything you've made is always in front of you, so you're like, all right, I need to do this to that, you know. So, you know, just kind of, it's for, and that's a personal thing, and you might want to organize your stuff differently. It's up to you. You're the artist, you know. So yeah. So just looking at some more references, and these are really cool, you know. And another thing I want to do is maybe find a way to do some of this detail inside of here, like some of that damage stuff. I'm thinking about how to do it, if I want to use maybe booleans and then retopologize. So that's what we might do, is like find a way to do some nicks and edges and just model some stuff in, model some damage in, because you can see it's got like some nicks and bruises to stuff. So I'm on a tangent. This is you know, still where we are right here. So let's continue this guy. So let's Alt X, and I just want to take a look at, you know, some of the detail that I'm probably gonna have to put in. Okay, boom, like that, and then the rope. Okay. So in my retopology, I've got quite a bit of geo, so I might want to take this down. Let me take this down to 2000, and then let's reset and then compute again. All right, that's not bad. All right. I don't mind that at all. All right, so I'm going to throw an edit poly on top of this guy right here. And I'm just going to start kind of making some of these changes that I see. Let's actually delete this guy, hide this one that we have, and then just go F right there. And what I want to do now is I'm going to split this guy in half again, just so I can see the other side a little better. Right, these are like little tips and tricks to the trade. So I'm just going to connect one time, right, the check mark, and then I can split this guy in half, take this side, delete it, it's gone. I don't need it anymore until the end. So now what I'm going to do is just Alt and X, and what that does for me is it gives me the X-ray view, and now I can just model. So now, you know, if I want, I can start to clean up some of this geo here so that I can make some of that detail that I see in there. So in all of these, I can start to, I'm gonna actually control backspace to remove all that, right? And then I can just straighten this guy out like so. All right. So as you guys can see, you know, the idea is to get cleaned up geo, right? However you get there, don't matter to nobody. Don't matter to nobody. You just got to get yourself to some cleaned up geometry, right? So like you see, we've got this detail right here, all right? So we can't do that detail if we don't have good topology, right? So this piece right here is actually rotate this guy like so. Right. Right. This is why we are often referred to as poly pushers. We're pushing these polygons around to make sure we get the shapes we need. Alright. So another thing I can do to help myself is I can constrain it to the edge. Alright, and make sure that oops. So let's rotate. Boom, like that. Just like that. Okay. Right, so now I actually do want to throw my symmetry modifier right back on this bad boy. So let's throw a symmetry modifier on. And I'm going to throw another edit poly modifier on top of that. So it looks like there's like some detail that goes like right here. So that's what I'm going to try to replicate next. Actually, I'm going to go under here. I'm going to cut this guy out. I'm going to this level and Alt-C. And then just right here, where I see that detail, start to form right there. Boom. 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 All right. So just like that, I can start to put that detail that I need into there. So also, just put it like Alright, so now I just want to make sure that this line that I just created is a little smoother than this. So we can, you know, just start adding more geo. Just go right here. Hit W, select it. I don't need any kind of snaps or anything like that. I can constrict it to the face. Right, so I can start to so I've got something just a little more cleaned up, and what I'm gonna want to do is just split this guy up like that. Split this guy into two separate meshes. So now we've got this guy and this guy. Right, and now with this guy, Alt-1 on the keyboard. And if I select this, Control select this guy, I can extrude, right? Just like that. So as you guys can see, there's only so many tools that you can use, in all honesty. There's only so many tools that you can use. I've got this little extra piece right here. I'll clean that up here in a second. But there's only so many things to use and do. So once you learn those things, it's pretty easy to manipulate that stuff. So just keep that in mind. And let's actually look at this reference. Well, this is like a piece that's kind of drawn on top of it. Oh, okay. So it's like a casing as well. Okay. Alright, so what I think I might need to do is actually Control Z all of this. Select these, Control, and then I'm just going to weld these back together. I'm going to remove this, actually, because all I really need to do is select this guy. And just shrink. And then Control I. Control I. just extrude this guy out. Just a little bit. Extrude edges, no. Okay. And then everything else is kind of like drawn on top of that is what it looks like. So it's like these interesting little tribal lines or whatever. So then I would just go edit poly here, select this guy, create shape from selection, select this guy, alright, then you just enable radial thickness, like something like that. So I think that's kind of what it's doing. So I'm going to use that same technique that we used for the bow, and I'm just going to start drawing some of these rune markings that I'm seeing here onto this piece. So like this stuff. So we can do Alt X, and then like I said, so to do that, let's just start with a plane. I'm gonna make a plane right here, right click it, convert it to an editable poly, and then in my modeling tools right here, I can just drop this entire thing down. Alright, so there's a few things we can do. We've got our freeform modeling tools, our selection tools, our object painting tools, our populate tools, which is for creating crowds and stuff like that. So what we're going to use today is the freeform modeling tools, and we can start to draw, you know, different things. We can draw geometry. So I'll show you with this guy. So I'll pick right here. I can draw on a surface, and I can pick the surface that I want to draw on. So I'm gonna pick this this guy right here, line 20. That's what it's called. So I've picked that surface that I want to draw on, and now whenever I select anything, I can, you know, start with maybe drawing strips, and then I can draw strips right on top of our mesh like that. And the further I go away, the bigger the strips are going to be. And then I can, like that. Right. And I can even put it at 1, or I can use this to draw splines, which might be a better option, right? So if I want to draw a spline, like so, I can do that, and then I can do this one like so. Right, and then there's one up here that I see, so I can draw this guy like so. So it's probably some sort of design that comes out like this. So I'm just gonna imagine. And then I would imagine there was, you know, maybe some that are in here like so, or, you know, I'm just kind of having fun with it now, but you guys can see the idea, you know. So there's probably maybe something that goes like this. Yeah, just drawing some shapes and different things to try to capture what's going on. And let's see. So this guy's even got, you know, it's got some detail on it too. But as you can see, we've got some interesting stuff going on here. So, and the cool thing is we can even use this to make some of that rope stuff too. So now we've got our spline, right? So now all we need to do is, you know, we just come back and clean up our spline, and then we can enable it in render and then in the viewport, right? So as you guys can see, like, this stuff is very, it can be very valuable to your modeling process. So let's weld some of this stuff together. And the cool thing is, you know, even with this stuff, so like if I do enable it in render and viewport, and what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to take down the interpolation all the way down to 0. So it gives me my base G or whatever. Alright. So let us now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a quad cap on there, and I'm going to do 2 of those. Alright. So now, you know, and the cool thing is I can still edit some of this stuff as I have it here. Right? It might be a little harder to edit geometry, but with this stuff, well, it doesn't pose as much of a challenge. So let's weld those. Let's go 3. Turn this off. Weld those together. So, and you know, with this stuff like this, when you get to the edge, you can those are all smooth. Smooth has a new definition in my book. Alright. So just, you know, just a little cleanup. So I gotta weld some of these back together. Right, as you can see, still doing a little bit of cleanup. Right. Throw a turbo smooth, see what it looks like. It's not bad. Right, and you know, before we even export it out, we would have to use like the Boolean cutter to, you know, remove the excess that we don't need. But you know, as you guys can see, like this is, you know, this is the start to it. And whoops. I don't know what that was. That's just, whoa. What just happened? I hope you guys are seeing this. It just chewed up my geo. Let's see how far back. What just happened? Oh my goodness. I hope you guys are seeing this because this is ridiculous. This is 3ds Max for you. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. It's like right after the retopology that it starts going haywire. Convert this to an editable poly. Alright. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, but yeah. Yeah, that's all I wanted to do is I just wanted to kind of extract some of this information that I already created. It's like this guy. Create shape from selection. That's really all I was trying to do, so I don't know why I was freaking out. Oh, Max. Alright, so let me just select that, and then I'm going to create shape from, oops. And create shape from selection, and this guy can go like, effect, let's hide this guy, and then, this guy goes like right here. This guy. So in my front view, and then I can effect, center the object. I'm just gonna make sure that these guys, let's scale this back down, then just increase its radius. Like so. See the thickness in there. Might want to do the same for this guy. Alright. And then they're connected. So I can convert this guy to an editable poly. I'll do the same for this guy. Attach. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Delete. Select both of those. And bridge those together. Actually. Maybe just instead of doing it that way, I can just select these guys, do it on its local axes, and then just shift, and it's going to do the automatic bridge for me. Alright, so just like that, I've made that detail, and then now if I turbo smooth it, you guys will see kind of, it's not already too bad. So I need to go in here once again. Connect, right? And then I could target weld these together like so. Let's do F3. Target weld this together. Control select, connect to that. All right. Whoops. Connect, don't break it. Connect those. And now, if I turbo smooth that, you guys will see how clean that is. All right, so that's how you would go about getting that cleaned up piece of geo. All right. So another way is, you know, right here they're connected this way. To get this type of geometry that they have right here, this type of smoothing, you would just have to match how theirs is connected. So instead of having these connect this way, you'd want them to connect like this. So if I hit control 1, or just ring this. So what you would want to do for that would be like that, F3 like that. Right click, connect. You would want to actually connect this way to get that kind of transition. Right, and if you look right here, you can see how that poly flow changes based on how that is being kind of passed. So let me remove this guy from here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And then you would have to add one right here, because you would still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, you'd still have 5 pieces. So you'd have to add another little piece of geo right here that connects. All right. All right, as you guys can see, you can see the different flow, right? Either it flows this way or it's flowing that way, and you can see how it's affecting that highlight. So little things like that, thinking about how your geometry is going to flow, is very important to how your highlights and your details and things like that are going to render. So I kind of went into the weeds and out of it a little bit today. So hopefully you guys are learning just about all the stuff that you guys can do here. And for me, it's like I have all this information that I need to get out, and I just hope it's not too much. But yeah, you guys will learn this stuff, understand how to use it, and next class I will hopefully finish up detailing this guy. So yeah, and for some reason our retopology kind of blew this thing up, so we're gonna have to retopologize this bad boy again next time you see us. So next time you see me, so just compute. Does it compute? Yes, it computes. All right. And I think, maybe it was like after that edit poly thing where I, extruded that. I don't know. Something messed it up, but easy to fix. You guys just watch the video again. And next class, we'll make the rope and stuff like that. And, as you guys can see, it's, this stuff is coming along. You just kind of block things out. You start slow, and then by the time you realize it, you've got a finished piece of art. So, yeah.